See, this is all good. You can wire it like this and it's fine while it works. But then when a problem occurs, this is where you get the real problem.
Oh my gosh, look again. It's got to be joints up there because there ain't enough cables here for a circuit to continue.
Hi, Del with the Sparky again. Just come to this property here to check some lights. I think half the lights in the ground floor flat, it's not working, so gotta go and see what's wrong there. See what I can do at this job.
You've got a light in the hallway, one in the front room and the back room. They're working, but this light, and it seems like all the rest of the lights back here aren't. See, with sockets, it's simple. Lighting can be aggravation. Yeah.
See that? They cut out the earth. I would always leave the earth and put it in the connector.
Up there though,
Can't remember seeing a 3-core. Maybe there was. Okay, well that's interesting. You see that? So it's just come out? That's interesting. See, when things are like this, it just makes things complicated. Let's have a look, see what we got here. Nope, it's not giving me a live. Right, okay, I'm just, that cable was loose. As you see, I took it out, it just come out. So I'm just tightening up stuff. I don't know what all this is, but you know, this, oh boy. Look, is that anything? Are those discontinued cable? It don't look like it. It looks like they're all joint. Anything could be wrong here when people do stuff like this. I don't know what's going on here. The fuse board's there at the door. I mean, like there are 2 lighting circuits up. It doesn't say it, but that's what it looks like. And obviously, you've got these 3 working, so I would have thought, right, that's the other circuit would come. I would think it would go either to the switch first, to that light in there first, or that light in there first. So I'm thinking this is where my problem's going to be. It wouldn't go, well, you don't know what they've done. I would have thought it would have gone to the further light and then come back this way, but you never know. It could have been easier for them to do it that way. Ah, okay. What's this? Right, says one of them says lights, yeah? Says light, just one that says lights. Maybe the other one goes to the bell. The other 5 out goes to the bell. Oh yeah, this one doesn't work. So it's got to be connected to this light. Yeah. Oh, let me just check. You got this old technology to get the cover off. You got to take all the fuses out. So one of these does the bell. I don't know what the other one does. These 2 are together, so I'm assuming they're lighting. Yeah, this is lighting. They're both lighting. But that one, these 2, this one and this one, they say permanently off. There's nothing on them, although they've got cables in them, I don't know. What the tenant's saying, that this fuse and this fuse are always down. So
that's got nothing, and the lights work, so that's got nothing to do with the lighting. That's what he's saying. So this one here, that's marked lighting, must do all the lighting. So in that case, I'm gonna check to see if there's any loose connections from there. That one's working, this one's working, that one's not working. So I'm thinking it either goes from here to the next one or from there to the next one. So let me just have a look here and check my connections. Right. I've checked these connections there, they seem okay. No. Yeah, they seem okay. So I'm gonna have a check. Because it's got to go from one of these, I would have thought. That's not as many cables as I expected. Well, there can be joints all over the shop. Oh my gosh, look again. It's got to be joints up there because there ain't enough cables here for a circuit to continue. You'd have live in, live out, live to the switch line. So in the middle there you'd have 3 lines. Then you have neutral in, neutral out, so you'd have 2 neutral. This looks like the end of a circuit rather than the middle of a circuit. Okay, so if this was wired correctly, that would have mean they would have either brought the live down to the switch and done it that way, but I don't think that's what they've done here. Or they would have gone to the next light, and if they gone to the next light from here, there'd be more cables unless there are connections above in the floor. So in here there should be 1 cable, and if that's the case, it does make sense up top. There are 2 cables. That's a live and a neutral. Yep, switch line, live and neutral, and the neutral is connected to continue, so that's all good. If this is the live coming from the fuse board, then these 2 lights are going to go out. Right, okay. Doesn't go out. So what the hell is this? So that stays on. This is fun. So right, so that's got to be switch line. All right, let me check this switch here. So again, we've got live and neutral. So okay, now this don't make sense. There's got to be a joint down bit, because if this, all right, let's look at this one here. Because if they've done it to the switch.
Done what to the switch?
Because what you can do, you can bring the live from the fuse board to the switch, to that switch, to that. So all the live and neutrals go to the switch. And then you just have a live and a switch line and neutral up to the light. Yeah? Mm-hmm. The way most people used to do it, this in the old days, live and neutral to the light, from the light to the next light to the next light, and then a switch line down. Yeah? Mm. So when I open that, that would be my first point, or that one, if I was rewiring it in that style. They call it 3-plate, and the one up is called 2. One from the switch is called 2-plate. So that light would have 3 lives in the middle, 2 neutrals, and a switch line, right? So I would have expected, if the way they've done it, looks like they've done a mismatch of things, because I would expect to see live and neutral to this switch, live and neutral to that switch, live and neutral to that switch. So you'd have two cables coming in, one going up to the line. But in this one, it's going to be slightly different because it's a two-way. This is a two-way, so you'd have a strapper. You'd have quite a few cables actually. Right, you've got quite a few. So what you've got here, you've got, yeah. So, right, what you've got here, you're going to have a strapper going over. I think it might even be a two and intermediate because you've got one at the end as well. So, and they done this in the old type ways, doing connections in the back. The strappers. Oh, man. Oh, hold up. This looks like an intermediate switch. This is an intermediate switch, it looks like. Yeah, it says it intermediate. But usually I have intermediate in the middle. But depending on how you wire it, I suppose you can have it anywhere. Because you'd have one, you'd start off here, feed here, strap it to there, strap it to the end one, so you can switch it three ways. Oh man, what sets of cables they got? 1, 2, 3, and one going up to the light. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's kind of taping up these days. Now, okay, see, now, this makes sense, this part, because that's what I'd expect. What I've expected, you see this blue, yellow and red cable, you'd go from here to that switch, and then from that switch over to there, and then up to the lights, and that's what would give you a two-way and intermediate. But you've got an intermediate switch at the end, so they must have gone from here to the end and then come back to there. But then you've got to load more cable in there. Why? It's nuts. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to avoid taking the whole thing down and going through it. Because that's the only way I can think of anything can be solved, but it's just a matter of how long it's going to take you. You know? When you wire a circuit in a conventional manner, and there's a fault, it's quite easy to find. That's why when I do wiring, I try to have no connections at all, no junctions. You know, I go from there to there. I don't want no junction under the floor if I can help it. You know. Right, again, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Because you see that's telling me that's the live coming up, yeah? This is live, switching and neutral, go to that light. Now, if I go up there, I would expect to only see a black and a red. But then, see, if that's how they wired it without junctions, here you would have two coming up and two coming up from the floor and one going up to the light. If it was done in a conventional manner without any junction box underneath. But here you've got one. You've got one coming up, yeah? You've got, there's got to be a junction somewhere. Gots to be.
make sense otherwise. And look, this one is for the bathroom, and you just got one cable there. And you can't just have a switch line up there because it's got a smoke detector. So you must have a live and a neutral up there. So they've wired it all different sort of ways. So, see, to solve this problem, because I could be all day, I'm gonna have to get the old mega or bell and bell out how the circuit goes. Because once you know how the circuit goes, then you'll probably come across what's causing it. But I'm thinking there's got to be junction boxes below, because like I said, you'd have two cables at the switches. You know what I mean? You don't just twist and tape top stuff. So what have I done? This is a long thing. See, this is all good. You can wire it like this and it's fine while it works. But then when a problem occurs, this is where you get the real problem. You see, this is where it's always well and good just wiring stuff anyhow when it works. But when a fault occurs and you've got to figure it out, this is when, and lighting is more in it than sockets. That's quite simple. Yeah, what I'm going to tell the client is that this is a long thing. It's no point me just looking and humming and ahhing and thinking, for me to sort this out properly, because I was expecting somewhere to see a loose connection, a cable out, and it's preventing feed from going to the rest of the circuit, yeah? But I haven't come across that yet. So what I'm going to have to do is basically take stuff off, bell it out so I know how the circuit runs. Once I know how the circuit runs, then I'll know what to do. And that's a long task. Because once you disconnect everything, then you have to reconnect everything. It's not something I'm going to start now because it's going to run too late. So I might have to come back here. Because usually that's what it is. Usually you take down the fitting, all the cables come out. You reconnect them, lights just come on. That's what it usually is. This is slightly different because I haven't come across that yet. So that earth is useless. Alright, let me just get something. I'm just going to try something. So, alright, okay. So we know we know that this light here, this switch here, we've got live and neutral. We must have. I'm going to connect across the live and neutral at this point and see if this light comes on, which I think it should do, but to see if them other lights in the kitchen come on. I don't know if they've got bulbs in them. People ain't got. So let's see what happens now. If we get back or not. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's go around here. Let's see if. Yeah. That works now. That one doesn't. This is working.
It doesn't. When you hit that, it came on.
Well, see.
This one, you test this one.
That one's. Oh yeah, that one works. Yep. There you go. That one works. This one works. Yeah, so there you go. I will. I got a light there, but
got something else. It's got two switches here, so don't know what it's for, but we'll try the lamp in there, see if that works. Yep. There you go. What that means is that, well, if you can get a light from that switch, you're laughing. Because there's a break.
So what are you gonna do to remedy it?
I think the simplest way is to run a cable from the fuse board round to that switch. And that solves your problem, doesn't it? I would run a cable from there to that switch, give it its own circuit.
From there?
From here.
Oh, from there. Okay.
Yeah, because then you'd have these three on one circuit and the rest of the house on one circuit.
Okay.
That's what I think the best thing to do. Hi there, yeah. So obviously, what I'm gonna do is run a new cable in to feed the back part of the house, and obviously we'll get the lights on, as you can see. There's obviously some fault, disconnection or somewhere. We've got to have joints in the floor or something, because like I said, you'd see more cables at each point. I wonder that switch with all those cables in it at the back, I wonder if that's got something to do with it, but that's going to be long. I think it's just run a new cable in, get them cables, those circuits separate, which is the way it should be anyway. You don't want all your lighting on one circuit. So hopefully I'll get that done, film it, and you can see it. Okay, thanks for watching.